Hey everyone, Counselor Michelle Bracco here, and we are here to discuss the topic of love and war. Is it fair? Well, what's that old saying? All's fair in love and war? Is it? Well, in the opinion of myself, let's take the bad part first. Let's do war. Now, being a disabled veteran, I served in the military, in the Army, for almost 7 years. And I served during the Gulf War era. And I became disabled before we shipped out. Unfortunately, I had a training accident that almost took my life. Luckily, I had my gear on. But my unit went overseas, and unfortunately, we lost people, including somebody that was in my squad where she was only 19. And it wasn't even to enemy fire, it was preparing to go out and survey the land, survey the area, and just preparing to leave. There was an accident and she passed away. So when it comes to war, no, there's nothing fair about war. People lose their lives, they become disabled. It destroys families and people. And war doesn't even necessarily have to be something where you're in the military for. War can be right at home. I mean, we're living in the United States where there's a constant war going on. A war against minorities, a war against women, a war against the government, the war against religion, and just the little fights that go underneath that. Like, well, not necessarily little fights, but, like gun reform and civil rights for LGBT, civil rights for women. Like, honestly, everything that we do and everything that we experience is some kind of war. Is it fair? No, for the most part, it's not. Because war is the kind of thing that someone's going to lose something, whether it's rights, limbs, life, family, friends. Like, war is a destructive act that takes away. So, in this counselor's opinion, no, war is not fair. Even if you sign up for it. Like in the military, they'll say, well, you signed up for it. You signed a contract. So whatever happens to you, it's fair because you knew the consequences. Pro athletes, well, if you get injured, you knew the consequences. Does that still make it fair that, I lost my life, or I became disabled, or I lost a family member because I knew the consequences? It's a question that honestly has to resonate with each individual. You have to decide, like, for you, is that fair? Personally, again, for me, and this is only my opinion, but no, I don't believe it's fair, regardless if you know the consequences or not. Because you are warned even when you have surgery, these are the consequences. But the purpose of you going in for surgery is to hopefully better something that it might be ailing you. War is an argument that has escalated to the point where it's severely fought, and the whole purpose of the war is to hopefully come out with a better ending, a better solution. So when you deal with that and you lose something from it, yes, you may have known that might have happened, but it doesn't make it fair. It's never fair to lose something that, especially if it was close to you, or if it's a right or a civil right for you to have. It's not fair at all to ever lose that, no matter what the consequences, no matter what the circumstances is. Now let's switch over a little bit and go to love. Love is an emotion. War is an act. So when we think about it, sometimes people take advantage of the saying of all's fair in love and war because they include an emotion with an act. And love is something that shouldn't hurt. It shouldn't be something that you have to necessarily fight for. Fighting for someone is for the whole package, not just the love of them. Because as we discussed in other segments, love is not necessarily enough. It's a great feeling and it's a great emotion, and it can make you feel elated and give you a rush of serotonin and great vibes and emotion. But at the end of the day, it is, again, just an emotion. And when people do things, certain things, in the name of love, it kind of devalues it. It makes it that an excuse rather than an emotion. Well, because I love you, I treated you like crap, or I was narcissistic because I didn't want to lose you because I love you so much. Is that fair? Absolutely not. Because when you end up using an emotion such as love as a control factor to keep somebody around or to validate an excuse of mistreatment, abuse, that's not fair. That's not fair at all. You're taking away a person's right of happiness, a person's ability to live freely when you use love as an excuse. So we will keep this short. To conclude, love and war. War, again, an act. And the losses that come from war are never fair because nobody needs to or wants to lose anything for the greater good. War can help situations, but the loss that comes from it, unfortunately, in this counselor's eyes, I don't ever feel that that is fair for the exchange. You might be helping other people, but the loss of anything is never fair. And when it comes to love, if you have to use love as an excuse to keep somebody around when you're behaving badly towards them or using it as a control factor, that is not fair either. Love is supposed to be beautiful and a great emotion, not a tool to control and manipulate someone. Well, that's my time, guys. Thanks for listening. And as always, thank you to CB and the boys. Love you guys. See you later.